Today I'm talking to Craig Lucas from NAC. NAC is one of the partners in the POP project. So Craig, what is POP?
So POP is an EU-funded centre of excellence, and we're all about performance optimization and productivity. So there's 8 partners, both commercial and academic, from the UK, Germany, France, Spain, the Czech Republic, working together to provide a centre of excellence that's helping promote best practice in parallel programming. We have a methodology and we have some tools, and we want to work with users to try to make them understand exactly what's going on in their software. We recognise that people have particular domain expertise, and we want to complement that with our expertise in performance analysis to create better software.
So can you tell us a bit about history of POP? You mentioned it's an EU-funded project. How long it's going to be funded? How long it has been running already?
Sure. So POP ran a while back for 2.5 years, and we had another round of funding, EU's Horizon 2020 programme. So in 2018, POP started up again. We got 3 years of funding this time, and we're going to be working with academics, with commercial partners and users, particularly SMEs. We have a remit to help small and medium enterprises, and we do that providing 2 services. An initial service where we call a performance assessment, where we write a report ultimately after we've used our tools and applied our methodology so people can understand something about the performance of their code. And if need be, we can help people actually improve that software, helping them refactor it with some code development as well.
So it sounds a very user-oriented project, if you like, and you are the business development manager?
Correct, yeah.
So how does that work?
So you're right, it's user-led, so we've got to go out and find users, okay? And that's good old-fashioned marketing, going out there, engaging with communities at conferences and events, advertising our services through professional bodies, any activity that we can, any route that people can find out about POP. Because one of the issues is that often if you're concentrating on doing your science, you're not thinking about performance, and maybe you don't think you actually need that second opinion on performance. And even if you did, you've got to hear about POP and find out about it. So we try to get out there and make people aware that we're there.
So in HPC community, everybody is talking about exascale. It has been for years going on, and we are still talking about it. So is this where POP focused, but there are many more people who actually can benefit from parallel programming? Where is your area of focus in POP?
Yeah, so of course exascale is very important, and one of POP's remit is to help prepare the community of parallel software developers for exascale. But because POP is all about promoting a methodology, promoting best practice, that applies to a large code running on many thousands of processors, to some software running on a desktop machine on maybe only a dozen processors. So, for us, exascale, yes, it is important, but basically any user is important if you're writing parallel software.
So the POP basically works on any scale, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, that's one of the aspects of our methodology. It's about understanding what's going on. So that applies to any domain.
So you mentioned that you're interested in all users, and an important part that EU is hoping, and a specific part of economy, SMEs, they can benefit a lot from parallel programming. Do you work with SMEs? How many users you have worked with, and how they benefit from the service? Yeah.
So as I say, SMEs is one of our targeted users. In POP 1, we work with several dozen SMEs, and we're continuing that focus in POP 2. And if you write better software, it runs faster. People getting their answers quicker, or perhaps they're solving bigger problems with the same compute power. So the real benefit to SMEs is firstly financial. If you're running your application in the cloud and you're paying for compute by the hour, it takes less time, you save money. If you have your own compute on premises, it's using less energy if it takes less time to compute the answers. So there's a financial gain. But there's also this idea of productivity that we're very focused on. You know, when people are doing their simulations, that's only part of their workflow. So their whole workflow is becoming more efficient, increasing productivity, ultimately making those SMEs more competitive.
So you're one of the HPC initiatives that work with SMEs. There are other ones and you collaborate with them.
Sure. I mean, it's very important when you're an EU-funded project that you collaborate and complement. Horizon 2020 funds a lot of projects. Most of the other projects are around particular domains, but there's initiatives like the Praise Shape program that gets compute access for a whole bunch of users, some of which are SMEs.
So it's funded by EU. It's a €8 million project, it's a big one. Does it mean that it's free for users to use this service? Do they need to apply for something?
So yeah, it's free. It's free in financial terms. There's those services that we provide. They get access to the tools. They're all open source anyway and available to download if you so wish. And the POP analyst's time is also free. But there is an investment of time. For us to do a good job in helping people not only understand about the performance of their code, but transfer that knowledge about how they can think about performance analysis themselves in the future, they're going to have to be engaged. They're going to help us understand their code, where problems potentially are, maybe the part of codes that they're interested in, and we're happy to take that steer. Yeah. But yes, they're going to have to be engaged. It's a collaboration, really, at the heart of it, but no money changing hands.
Do you have any experience in how much you help SMEs? Because you have been working with them in terms of numbers.
Sure, yeah. So we look back at POP 1, the average performance improvement was over 2 times. Yeah, okay. So the average SME code ran twice as fast. Okay. You know, so again, if you look at those, that's huge. It's fantastic. You know, and if you're talking about cloud costs, they've halved essentially. You know, so that absolutely fantastic. Some of our success stories, performance is much higher than that.
And then, are your services targeted to a specific domain or sectors, or are you open to everybody?
We're certainly open to everybody. Of course, from a business development point of view, it's a nightmare trying to reach the entire community. So there are some communities, per se, computer-aided engineering, some of the biosectors, maybe materials, where there's a lot of people in those sectors doing very similar work. And therefore you can go to a particular conference, give a talk, you have some nice glossy materials and people can understand, what we're doing. You take other sectors like finance, where they're doing high performance computing, but it's a bit secretive often, but also that it's in very niche areas and it's very hard to come up with a language that we can embrace an entire community. So for a while, from my sort of point of view, we target particular sectors because that's more effective use of our limited resources, but our services are open to absolutely anybody.
So a lot of codes that traditionally run on HPC are research codes and they are open source, but that doesn't apply to SMEs necessarily. How do you deal with confidential issues?
So we have to be very sensitive of people's intellectual property. So one of the mechanisms we use is non-disclosure agreements. Mm-hmm. So an SME, for example, could approach us and say, we'd like to use POP services, but we really have to be assured that you're not going to give any of our IP away. And really all POP requires is the name of a code. We talk about the codes that we've worked with, we don't reveal performance figures or anything like that, and we can sign non-disclosure agreements to reassure those people. For others, secrecy really, really is important, and they can't give us the source code. Maybe they give us the application and we could run it and run our tools on it. Or even for some people, that's kind of too much. But that's okay, because we can educate people on how to install and use our tools on their own systems. They run the tools, get the output, pass them to a POP analyst who can help them interpret the results. Okay.
So it sounds very flexible. You can even work with the code if you don't see the code.
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the nice things about having this set of tools and methodology and invested some time in sort of materials that can help people use them.
So it sounds you work with users around their needs. How they can apply for your services, what does it involve?
So, 2 golden rules first. They've got to be in the EU.
Okay.
And the software they're interested in looking at has got to be parallel. Okay, we are promoting parallel programming best practice. So if those 2 boxes are ticked, everything else is good. We don't care what languages people write their code in, whether it's C, C++, Fortran, Python, Java. We don't mind how they access parallelism, whether they're writing MPI on a large HPC machine, OpenMP on a high-performance desktop machine, or they're targeting GPUs with CUDA. None of that matters to us, and we love the variety, to work on these codes and understand a variety of codes. So, and that's it. And if you just go to our website, fill out a short form, and then somebody from the POP service will contact you and talk you through the next steps.
Sounds easy. Thank you very much, Craig.
Thank you.
If you have a borrowed code, go to the POP website.